Hi everyone, it's Andy and Joel at Codebreak on the Stay Hungry Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about how you can't please all of the people all of the time. Hi Andy, how are you doing?
Hi Joel, Happy New Year. How long do we carry on saying that for?
I don't know, you said it last week.
Oh, did I? Oh shit, is this the second one we've done this year?
Yeah.
Right, I've annoyed my mum already. She came round for lunch yesterday. She's in our bubble. And she told me off for saying shit a lot in the podcast. I was like, oh, don't know. So I've done that already. But I said, well, Mum, in a nice possible way, you're not our customer avatar.
You can't please all the people all the time, Andy.
Yes, but Dad's friend Victor Rao, he listens to your podcast. I'm like, well, why does Victor listen to our podcast? He's like retired at 80, living with his daughter in Australia. Very nice. Flattering, though. So, hi, Victor, if you are listening. Hope you're well. Yeah, and sorry about the language.
That's cool. If he lives in Australia, he'd be used to bad language. It's fine.
He lives in Darwin. Is that? I'm trying to think. Is that North Australia?
Yeah. As far north as you could be.
So is that a Crocodile Dundee territory?
Further north than that. So yeah.
Wow. Our friends in Perth, they emigrated to Perth. She's a hairdresser. Went a few years ago, and she says it's 41 degrees at the moment. It's like, wow.
That's too much for me.
I know when we went to Turkey, it was about in the 40s, and that was pretty toasty. But I got to be honest, I take that at the moment.
Really? You don't like the cold?
I don't. I could get more done in the cold, but I'd like it both ways. Like the best of both worlds, really, Joel. I'd like it maybe cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon. Okay. Maybe that's what appeals about California. You can literally go swimming in the morning and skiing in the afternoon.
Yeah, we thought that in British Columbia. You could go to the ski resort and it was -2 and snowing. You go down to sea level and it was 30 degrees. It was amazing.
Oh, lovely. Anyway, you got me thinking about holidays now. So let's talk about marketing. You talk about vanilla-like marketing.
Sort of. So I'll tell you a little story around where I live. So I live in a village that's a bit of a social experiment in the fact that Bourneville, the people that used to own Cadbury, decided to build a village, and they've done a mix of affordable housing, social housing and private housing. They've built a really nice primary school, lots of parks, lots of green spaces. And then in the middle of the village, there's like a village square with lots of little businesses on it. So there used to be an accountant there's a chemist, there's a nursery, and there used to be a village shop. But with everything that's been going on, a lot of these businesses have struggled. And a lady's just taken on one of the units and made a little takeaway cafe. And then within a takeaway cafe, she also stocks essentials. So bread, milk, eggs, anything that you might need that you wouldn't want to go in the car for 10 minutes for, basically. And on our village Facebook group last week, she posted, "Is there anything anybody needs that we can stock in our cafe?" And I immediately turned to my wife and said, she's on a hide into nothing. This is going to really, really cause us some trouble. And so somebody said, I could do if you stock in nappies, which in my mind immediately defeats the point of essentials. And then something like, preferably size 4 nappies, please. And then somebody else posted, could you stock deodorant? And on it went. And then in the end, there was 184 comments on this post.
You ask why I'm not a fan of Facebook groups. This is exactly why.
So
what was it Winston Churchill said about? Was it Winston Churchill about never ask? These are jokes you used to make about Brexit, wasn't it? Like, never ask the British public what they want. Never.
Is it Lincoln that said a lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep or something?
And what's okay? One more quote. Bloody hell! Bollocks! Forgot what. Oh, sorry, Mum. Lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep. Oh, there's one more that was apt. The Henry Ford one. If I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sat there thinking, right, this cafe it's like a Spanish influence cafe. So she sells like hot chocolate and churros in the day for takeaway. They do
churros,
really nice toasted sandwiches to take away, or like jacket potatoes with chorizo. And
no, you're wrong now.
But it's all like on a theme. And then on the side in the cafe, there's like sort of fresh local produce and a bit of milk and bread that you can pick up whilst you're there for convenience.
Does she sell nappies?
Well, that's it. If I go in there next week now and there's deodorant, nappies, newspapers, and everything else, surely that's completely tarnishing what it is. It's like turning into a corner shop.
That I mean, obviously, I bet she's probably loving great on her for setting up a business in these tough times, and sounds brilliant. I'm sure she'll get lots of support, but I suppose like with many new business owners, you make mistakes. We still mistakes now, and we've been doing this donkey's years. But yeah, asking questions like that, and well, I just can't see what much good benefit will come of it. So nappy size 4, brilliant. And what about the other 30,000 mums?
Well, exactly that. I completely understand how you can nip to the cafe and whilst you're there, you can pick up a loaf of bread or a pint of milk. That makes perfect sense, and eggs and whatnot. But
It's your shop. Sell what you want.
yeah. Where Morrison.
She's nice and naive. It's like you said, she's trying to appeal to everyone.
Yes, exactly that. So that's where I'm heading. She's trying to appeal to everybody. But what she'll find, I think, is the people that she appealed to initially with her lovely Spanish influenced cafe will start to fall away because suddenly they'll think, well, you've become a knick-knack shop, like a bric-a-brac. And I thought I was coming to buy a toasted chorizo and cheese sandwich or whatever it might be.
And especially if you've got loyal customers, the ones who get their toasted sandwich within a couple of minutes, now suddenly, I'm waiting 5 minutes now. Oh, I bet it's because she's busy, rearranging the nappies and stacking the deodorants, and she's taken half the ball now. And sometimes it can feel that you're on a bit of hiding to nothing.
Yeah.
And if someone's bought into you for something, generally speaking, it's very hard to manage expectations if you want to, widen your portfolio, which lots of business owners want to do. They want to diversify. I get that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? If you want to, if you make a success of that cafe, and then you think actually this village could do with a corner shop, then expand your fresh produce into another unit, and that makes perfect sense. I completely get that. But trying to please the whole village when unfortunately the whole village is not your audience is actually potentially going to damage all the good you've done so far.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? Where does your expertise lie? And what does your due diligence tell you about the feasibility of running that kind of business?
Yeah.
So if it's, actually, I think I could be onto a winner here, happy days. If it's like, actually, I want to run my little churro shop, but I'm in the wrong location. I don't think there is a market for it. I'll look elsewhere or do something else. But be a jack of all trades, for want of a better phrase, it can be difficult. And lots of businesses do this. We're a marketing agency. There are lots of things we offer, although we make packages rather than we'll do a bit of this, a bit of that, because we've seen the effects of that. What can happen? Suddenly you're doing a Facebook ad for him, you're doing a Google ad for her, you're doing a website for him, and you've got all these projects running alongside, and you can be easily running around like a headless chicken because you're there. Everyone wants to take the check that's being waved in front of them, of course, but it can be short-sighted thinking, and we've seen this especially with franchises. The franchisor, like with anything, there are good ones and bad ones, and the bad ones will accept a check off anyone to be a new franchisee. But one day you'll just find your network has been compromised because you just let anyone in, and they start running off, messing up your brand and not delivering the service to their clients, and obviously it affects the whole network.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, hugely. I think every business goes through it because, I mean, you and I have sat opposite each other in meetings where we know that what's being put in front of us would be profitable, as in cash profitable in the moment, but would it make the business better in the medium term? And it can be really difficult to say no to that stuff sometimes. But the reality is, if you do a job for somebody that's profitable, but it tarnishes your reputation or it creates a situation where you might not win the sort of work that you need to win, then you probably shouldn't do that job.
Yeah. and it's God, we're totally empathetic here because we do understand. Everyone wants money, and when someone is there with a checkbook under your nose, oh, do this for me, but long term, it's not good for your for your business, good for your mindset, whatever. Same with binning clients. Some people are ruthless about who they'll work with and who they won't work with. And if someone's, I want to work with you, but they're going to be a pain in the arse, or you're not suited, or whatever it might be, it's hard to say, sorry, I don't think we're the right choice for you or the best choice for you. Yeah. Because they're going to be offended. Why my money not good enough? But you've got to think long term. Yeah, I'll take your check now, so it'll be sweet for a couple of months, but after that, you'll just be eating into my day too much, affecting my positivity, the team's mood, whatever. Because I don't want anyone in our team to have to deal with dickheads. And in fact, we got that on our homepage, I think, haven't we? About the rules of working with Codebreak. There's no dickheads.
Don't be a dick, I think it says, is the exact words. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, and some people. Well, we know some people don't like that. We've had some people complain about that, and it's like, well, okay, you can't appeal to everyone, and that's where I think fear comes into it a lot as well. That I don't want to offend or upset anyone, so I'll water things down, or I won't talk about this because it might offend someone. Mm-hmm. And over time, you can almost automatically just end up being a purveyor of quite bland, quite vanilla-like content, and you think you're appealing to everyone, but all you're doing is diluting your strengths.
Yeah, absolutely, and you see it the other way around as well. So, we've worked with a few brands that have gone through this, but where, let's say, trainers, it wasn't trainers, but to keep it polite, somebody commented saying, "Oh, I'd never pay that for a pair of trainers." And the owner of that business took that to heart and really struggled with it. And we had to say to them, well, if they'd never pay it for a pair of trainers, they were never going to be your customer anyway. So,
did you tell them your Lincoln quote?
No, maybe I'm a bit braver on the podcast than
I. No, but you're right. It's people care a lot, obviously, about what their peer network says, and what social media has done is taken it to the next level. That a lot of people who care about what total strangers have to say.
Yeah.
So when someone who is not qualified at all pops up on your LinkedIn saying, "Oh, that's way too expensive, mate." Oh, what? Oh, is it? Oh God! Oh, have I got my pricing wrong? It's like, oh my God, the whole pre-qualification is just out of the window in a lot of situations, and a lot of that is exacerbated by social media. And we talk about this a lot. You got to remember, everyone is always an expert when it's someone else's money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine if, I think we've mentioned this brand before, but imagine if Tyrrell's Crisps had listened to people when they launched. Oh, no, nobody will pay £2 for a bag of crisps. I mean, literally every brand under the sun in the potato world now has a premium bag of crisps.
That's the thing. It's breaking the mold. It's the Henry Ford quote. If he'd listened, he just would have tried to have done something to make horses faster. Or Steve Jobs, Apple, with the iPad. It's like, or even the AirPods more recently. What the bloody hell's all that all about? They look stupid.
We'd all still be on Blackberries and wearing.
Yeah, exactly. Now everyone's walking around with wireless headphones, apart from me, because my kids have stolen my AirPods.
I bought my mum a pair of wireless audio headphones for her birthday.
Right.
Some nice ones, because she's had a tough time of late. And I called her the other day, and when she answered on her headphones, and it absolutely blew her mind. She was like, "It sounds like you're in my head."
What a good son you are.
Yeah, I'm pleased with
that. That's a cool present.
Yeah, well, she loves listening to. She loves Spotify, and
she listens to our podcast.
She listens. Yeah, she listens to it when it gets published on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now I was on the bike yesterday, and there was someone running in front of me, and I was sort of getting closer and closer. And where there's a runner, horse rider, a cyclist who's slower than me, although that's rare, I'll always say, coming past or whatever, so they know. But this guy had those sort of can headphones on, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And I was like, coming through, and no recollection. And of course, as I went past, oh, didn't see you there, mate. And I was like, oh, I've been shouting for like half an hour. And it puzzles me why someone would run or, to be honest, go on a bike with proper headphones. They can't hear traffic or anything.
Yeah, the people that do it in the car stress me out as well. When you see someone wearing headphones in the car.
Oh, you know who those people are? They're super important. They're probably on a conference call, Joel.
Well,
they're so important. They've got a text and drive as well.
Well, they should get Bluetooth. Blow their minds.
Yeah, that's a cool. Maybe I should get those for my mum.
Yeah, I mean these are canned ones because they're obviously for comfort when you start listening to music. But yeah, she's not.
Yeah, so how do we get on to talking about this? Oh, about faster horses.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite a difficult one to think about because, who, generally speaking, if you say to a lot of business owners, well, who's your ideal customer? Oh, I'll sell to anyone. If it's a car dealership, well, anyone over the age of 17, of course, or anyone with a driving license, I should say. Well, okay, and I'm sure you wouldn't turn them away if they came onto the forecourts. But no, who's the ideal customer? Who's your customer avatar? Who are you specifically going after? Because your marketing revolves around them, and you go a bit left and a bit right, but you always come back to that central spine, that 25-year-old couple with one kid or whatever. That's your ideal target audience. Because if you do stray to the left and too far and too often, and the same to the right, you will just appeal to no one.
Mm-hmm.
You'll think you're doing the right thing by having such a vast, all-encompassing message that everyone loves, and there's a big difference between everyone loving and everyone buying, and no one ever takes offense or umbrage. It all sounds lovely and fluffy and woolly and comforting, but it ain't going to put any more money in your purse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think about, your trainer man you were talking about, someone, and I suppose we see this a lot, someone saying, oh, that's too expensive, or that's just so important to be mentally tough, to think. Like, there's some people who just dismiss it, wouldn't even give a shit, wouldn't even cross their mind. But we know there are others who it really has an effect on them. Just one idiot or one loudmouth or one troll can really affect them.
Yeah.
And that's how they, I better not, I'll bring my prices down and I'll just say really nice things about the sun and the growth of plants or something. Like a big accountancy firm might do if they don't know what they're doing.
I'm trying not to rise to your bait.
I want an accountant that talks about the sunsets and how beautiful they are. Of course I do.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of examples of even big brands getting this wrong, where they try to. I mean, I think we're seeing it with supermarkets at the moment, where the mid to premium supermarkets are trying to make sure they're still competing with the Aldis and the Lidls of the world by releasing, wonky veg or low end products, and I think they're making a mistake. They're spreading themselves too thin and forgetting who their audience is. And I shop at a budget supermarket because I can't see the point in paying more for the same thing. But there's plenty of people out there that won't do that. So why would you try and attract them to your store?
You're talking about me now, Joel, aren't you?
Well, you do fall into that category, yeah.
No, I was blown away when Emma first came back from. It must have been. Do Lidl do name brands or just their own?
Both. They do both.
Okay, I wonder if it was Lidl or Aldi, one of them. And it was like the same thing, the same manufacturer, the same brand, but like a third the price. It was like, oh my God, so I can get a tub of Vegemite for like £2 in Sainsbury's, but it's 50p in Aldi. Or crisis, we ran out of Vegemite yesterday, so I had Marmite, because it turns out Marmite is vegan. I didn't realise. I thought it had beef extract, but apparently that's Bovril.
It's yeast extract, isn't it,
Marmite? Oh my God, bloody awful. So back to Vegemite for me.
You don't like Marmite? Interesting.
Well, no, I did, until we've had nothing but Vegemite for like a year or so. Wow. So yeah, blown away. Just
quite,
oh my God,
quite a bit stronger than Vegemite, I'd say.
A lot bloody messier. I'd forgotten what it's like to try and get out of its glass jar. It's like strands of like melted cheese went everywhere, Joe. It's a right mess. First world problem, I know, but I was trying to watch the Towering Inferno. It was very distracting.
Oh, you watched that as well, did you?
Oh, we're on a bit of a disaster movie theme at the moment. Yeah,
Tower Inferno is a great one.
2 hours 45 minutes though.
That must be one of the first proper disaster movies.
Yeah, so Irwin Allen, he did that, The Poseidon Adventure, and then I think Beyond the Poseidon Adventure or another one. And basically, he was the instigator and the killer of the disaster genre. It just everyone jumped on the bandwagon with awful films, but
Yeah.
those ones were, and the number of stars in Towering Inferno. But I think the Towering Inferno was the first film where it had two leads or two male leads, and obviously the usual arguments about whose name comes first. So I think that was the first instance where one name was put on the left, so first, but slightly lower than the other one that was on the right, but higher. So it's Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. Can't remember which way round.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like just, yeah. That's why I just said with me and you, it's always got to be Andy and Joel. We do it alphabetically.
Yeah. So,
but Joel, maybe now you could put slightly higher.
Yeah. If I ever start getting precious about that, something's gone very wrong with our business. So, yeah, my grandparents, they had 3 videos when I was growing up: Riverdance, the Muhammad Ali anthology, and the Towering Inferno.
Cool.
So I watched the Towering Inferno quite a lot because
a Riverdance. So that's the flailing legs guy.
Yeah, Michael Flatley before he went on his own. Yeah.
Oh, they're into that, were they?
Yeah, I've seen that live. You know.
You're joking? Why? Someone make you?
No, we're really into it.
I'm finding all sorts of stuff out about you on this podcast.
I've got the Michael Flatley box set on Blu-ray. True story.
Okay, you're just taking the piss now.
I promise. I can prove it after.
Man, right.
And
we need to delete this section from the podcast, man. So this is doing our street cred no good.
So one of his shows was called Feet of Flames.
Right, okay.
And another one's called Lord of the Dance. And
right,
that wedding I went to in Ireland a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The bride was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's one of the dancers.
Bloody hell. Did she do that flailing leg thing at her wedding, at her first dance then?
Not as a first dance, but she genuinely did dance at her wedding, yeah.
I just can't remember anything like really bad drunk Cossack dancers. But he obviously made billions, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
he went massive in America or something.
Very, very wealthy, yeah. Very wealthy guy.
Well. I'm
not your thing.
Surprises me about you, but
not your thing.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you're a fan of the Towering Inferno. Surprised me about the Riverdance thing.
Oh.
I mean, Cirque du Soleil, I would have said yes. Of course, Joe will be up for that. Penn and Teller, definitely. An Irish jig show. I wouldn't have seen that. Wow.
I'll lend you the box set. See what you think.
No, you're okay.
Not for any Irish dancers out there.
You can lend me the Muhammad Ali anthology. I'll have that.
No, it's on VHS. Have you still got a video player?
Oh my god. I bet my mum still does. She doesn't throw anything away. I wonder if she does actually, you know. That's how I learned to use a 24-hour clock by programming our video back in the day.
Yeah.
Interesting fact. Or maybe not. Right, come on. Let's get back to marketing before we lose our audience.
Yeah. So
what are we talking about?
You can't please all the people.
How the hell did we get onto Vegemite and the Towering Inferno? You talk about budget supermarkets.
Divisive things. Vegemite's quite divisive. Riverdance is quite divisive, apparently. So.
Oh, that's because it's shit. But again, I'm just a voice in millions, like this person who popped up on LinkedIn slagging off our clients' trainer prices.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, we talked about this recently about people like David Goggins, Jordan Belfort. So some pretty tough, thick-skinned guys who even they will admit that every once in a while somebody pipes up on social media that gets through their armor, that pisses them off or upsets them or makes them angry. So we're all only human, and all we can do is encourage business owners to be resilient mentally, to have courage and conviction of their own pricing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, how they conduct business. If they're conducting business ethically, then to a certain extent, you can't listen to everyone, and obviously it's very good to have a peer network around you who will be honest but constructive. So when they say to you, oh, listen, Andy, your recent video is a bit shit, blah blah blah, okay, I understand that. When someone unsolicited pops up, all I'm going to do is send them that Howard Stern link, because it really is irrelevant. Unsolicited. In fact, who pissed me off last month?
Was it me?
I better not say what he does. But it gave us some unsolicited feedback about how we approach our initial call with a potential client. It's like, hang on, I didn't ask that. And guess what? He turned out to be the biggest pain in the arse, who ended up ghosting us anyway. So it's like, well, if you want to talk about professionalism, let's talk about you requesting a quote and confirming everything and then totally disappearing, compared to not having direct access to us because we're too busy looking after clients. Could we do a podcast about unsolicited feedback, Joe? I think that could be a good one.
Do you know what grinds Andy's gears?
Yeah, that could be a good. Well, Rob Moore always says a good rant once in a while. In fact, he rants quite a lot, and I think they're probably his most popular podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I think if, like you say, if you get feedback from one of your peers, somebody that you respect who also understands your business, that's very different to unsolicited feedback from somebody who's not even in your target audience.
Or is it unsuccessful? It's if someone has not a success in business, or is not even a business owner, and they're trying to give you advice about business to business marketing or whatever, sometimes you do just have to nod politely. But when if you were to say to me, oh, Andy, I'd listen. There are people in our network who I'd listen to, but there are also people in the network who I know would say to me, would you like me to give you some feedback? And they know I'll either say yes or no, rather than just forcing it upon me. And again, you come to that, back to that phrase that everyone is always an expert with other people's money. And to be honest, with other people's children and with other people's pets, they're the ones who will come and criticize your kids where their own kids are the spawn of Satan. And we all know parents like that. And when it's not your money, you can nothing better, I think, for some people than to go and criticize other people's business. So maybe not even maliciously. They think they're helping, but and I see this a lot in Facebook groups as well. Again, while I'm not a massive fan of them, especially business ones, is that pretty much anyone gets let into a Facebook group. You've got to answer a few questions, and then you always got people that are more than happy to straight away start sharing their advice all the time. They're the sort of people who are on Twitter all the time, and you actually think, well, aren't you supposed to be running your business? You're in this Facebook group all the time, giving your opinion about stuff. And are you qualified to be giving those opinions? It can be a bit of a minefield, really.
So what about businesses that do try and appeal to quite broad audiences? So McDonald's, Cadbury's, that kind of thing. What do we say to businesses planning to launch, or businesses in their early days that perhaps have a broader audience than most?
They will still have their customer avatar.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges we have when we're deciding whether to onboard a new client or not is identifying that. And like I say, McDonald's can probably stray a bit more left and right than most businesses, but they'll still have their customer avatar, knowing who to target. It also depends what marketing you're doing. If, I don't know, say for example, for a number of clients, we'll use a sales funnel. Everyone knows that a funnel starts off big at the top, and the whole point about it is to condense it into this powerful little stream at the end. So the funnel is almost like you want to have quite a wide range at the top, targeting a wider range of people. And the purpose of the funnel, as the emails go out and out, is to narrow that down, so the people who aren't really that interested actually leave your funnel, and you're ended up with these really hot leads. So that's, and a lot of people don't really sort of see that, don't get that as a funnel. That's the whole point of a funnel. There's no point starting off super niche if you are going down the funnel route.
Yeah,
you let the funnel do the work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, isn't it? I always think, somebody like McDonald's, they will have so much data on who their ideal customer is and who their customer avatar is. And it might be that they have more than one profile within that. information for various, whether it be a radio ad, TV ad, a YouTube ad, whatever they're doing. But they will still be incredibly detailed on that. And people, I think, don't realise just how detailed some of these big brands are with that kind of thing.
I mean, to me, I know we talked about, we recommend this film a lot as well, but if people haven't watched The Founder yet with Michael Keaton, just how Ray Kroc turned this little two-brother-led operation into the global behemoth it is now. Even what he was coming up with, was it in the 50s or the 60s? Just that attention to detail and getting those foundations right from day one.
Yeah.
How it can reap its benefits like 50, 60, 70 years later. I love that film.
I really like it, but it never really got any traction, did it?
No, I don't think. Well, I don't think a lot of people got it. That's the wrong phrase. It's almost, I don't know. Do you think there's a lot of people who, I don't know, not in business maybe, who eat at McDonald's all the time, but never really sit there and think, I wonder how they do stuff, and I wonder how it's grown so much. And
I guess the film also kind of portrays the element that essentially he gets one over on the McDonald's brothers a little bit. So he's not a particularly likable character. What he does is amazing, but perhaps he's not particularly likable. And so I guess at the end, the bad guy wins to an extent. That might be tricky for some people.
Yeah. But, Ray Kroc, who you got now? Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, the new richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos. I think most people at that kind of level, they're divisive. I'm not saying you've got to be a bit of a shit to succeed, but they're people. They're definitely people who haven't tried to please everyone.
Zucks.
Yeah, Zucks. Who else? Bill Gates. Everyone loves Bill Gates pretty much, don't they? Or are you going to tell me that?
No, that's the thing, isn't it? With all the coronavirus stuff, is that all the anti-vaxxers think Bill Gates. It's all a conspiracy by Bill Gates to track us and get chips injected in us and stuff.
Yeah, but they're just nutters, aren't they?
But there's a lot of them. So
yeah. Which country is going to be drawing up a list or claiming they're going to draw up a list of people who refuse to get vaccinated?
Spain, isn't it?
It's Spain, yeah.
Yeah, it's. You can understand.
Yeah,
dodgy territory, but it's
dodgy. Yeah, I'm not a scientist or even an avid news watcher. That's something I've pared back on since all this happened, which my mother-in-law can't understand. How do you not know what's going on in Sierra Leone with the viruses? It's like, got to be selfish. If it doesn't affect sort of my business and my family, I've just got other things to worry about and to focus on.
Yeah, I think you've done yourself a disservice there, because.
No, I really haven't got a clue what's going on in Sierra.
No, but in terms of what you just said, as in you're quite charitable and you do various things for charities that don't affect you directly. But in terms of filling your head with stuff that doesn't affect you directly, that's a different thing.
Well, I told you I've got no scientific basis at all for this, but I'm working off the Sherlock Holmes theory that you've only got so much finite space upstairs. And I think some people are blessed with a bigger attic upstairs than others. And mine's probably average sized, and I've just got to be careful about what boxes I allow in there, because they'll be taking up vital room.
Yeah, it's like people who fill their garage and say it doesn't bother them, but you know that deep down they've got a garage full of crap.
Oh, well, Emma's on such an anti-clutter thing
again,
at the moment.
Again, away every day again.
Yeah, but she's gone out for a dog walk, so I can say this now, and I don't think she listens to our podcast, The Philistine. But she hasn't cottoned on to the fact yet, but that she gets rid of loads of stuff, but buys an equal amount of stuff. So the delivery driver, literally, she knows the first name of all the delivery drivers now. DPD, Hermes, doesn't matter. And you get rid of one thing, Em, and then a courier turns up with one more thing. So we still got the same amount of shit.
That's not really how Mrs. Hinch wants it done, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, we've got how many? Well, we certainly got one of her books.
Oh God, yeah. I think we got like 3 for Christmas.
Well, Emma told me, she goes, "This Mrs. Hinch." I'm like, who? she goes, Hinch, and you Hinch your house and all that. Oh, what are you on about? And she said, oh, it's a lady in Essex or whatever. And I look, and she's got like 5 billion followers or something.
Yeah.
By showing people how to clean.
Well, maybe it's not for you, Andy. You can't please all the people all of the time.
Nah, vanilla, like, you're too right, Joel. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah. But yeah, my wife loves her.
Yeah, mine.
So I think it's just another way for Emma to get me doing more housework by the sounds of it, which I'm.
Well, I think the idea is that eventually it's less, but then if you haven't got anything to clean.
Well, with 2 giant cats and 2 dogs, there'll always be stuff to clean.
Oh, tell me about it. Well, I've only got one little dog, but
he doesn't make too much of a mess, does he?
Well,
does he molt?
He does molt, yeah, and he's quite powerful dog, so he can accidentally destroy things.
Oh, really? Yeah. Need to beat him.
I don't think so. He'd win.
I just must stress, we don't beat our dogs at all. They're lovely dogs. Haven't got the heart.
Right. So what's your final thought, Jerry?
Are you wrapping up already? What time is it?
Oh, we're deep in.
Oh, it's. We've covered a lot today. I think it's nice to be nice. We all know that. When it comes to your marketing, you want to be nice. You don't want to be, or maybe you do want to be deliberately divisive. I know there's a PT, to be honest. I've had to unfollow him this morning. It's just got to be a total pain in the arse because his entire marketing strategy is based around find what everyone loves and bangs on about how it's amazing, and then slag it off and do the opposite. And I'm not personally a fan of that, but hey, if it works, it works. And that approach is still probably better than trying to be a solution to everything, trying to please everyone. And if you don't have a few people popping up every now and then, not saying if you're getting hate all the time, you probably are doing something wrong. But if you're not getting someone make derisive comment every now and then, if you're not getting some unsubscribes off your emails every now and then, you're probably not being targeted enough, or you're not getting out there enough. You're simply not putting enough content out there. And as tempting as it is to try and appeal to everyone, you'll risk alienating. Like your lady with the churros, if you start selling nappies and deodorant, risk alienating the people who actually would put their hands in their pockets to pay you, would continue to pay you for a long time, and be an unpaid advocate of your business by generating referrals into your company. So that's probably my takeaway. What about yours? You've got me thinking about churros now, Joel, which are literally about the only dessert I can't say no to.
So my logic would be the sort of person that goes into a nice cafe to get a toasty, some churros and a hot chocolate probably doesn't want to look to their left-hand side and see a load of toiletries or nappies, and that's the discussion you've got to have with yourself in terms of, am I trying to keep everybody happy, or am I keeping the people that pay my bills happy? And that goes for any business. I mean, we, to be honest, over the last 3 years, Codebreak has stripped its services back to packages like you mentioned before, for exactly that reason. Because if we were to be just doing business cards, for example, design and print of business cards, the sort of people that shop around for business cards on their own as a separate thing are probably not the sort of people that pay our bills.
Yeah, and this is something, to be honest, I still struggle with now. That you mentioned business cards. Someone could come and say, "I want some business cards doing," and it's not something we do it for existing clients, and it could be part of a package that we're setting them up a brand, a new company, and we're doing stationery packs, all this stuff for them. But if someone came to us, I just need some business cards doing, I need 50 designed and printed. It's not something we do. Now, they could say, but you don't know where this could lead, because on the back of the business cards, I might need some leaflets doing, and then I might need a website doing, and then I might need a rebrand, and then I might. And sometimes you've got to be careful of those carrots being dangled in front of you, like we mentioned about the checkbooks earlier, that mights and maybes don't pay the bills. I'm not saying just purely think about today, but sometimes if you find yourself saying yes to little jobs, the little jobs are great, but if they're taking your eye off your loyal customers, the ones you're doing the kind of work you ideally want to be doing, it can be a dangerous game.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what's going on with my local cafe. Is if we put nappies on the shelves, people might come in and buy more toasties.
Yes,
and that's not true. Somebody that desperately needs nappies is probably not the same customer avatar as somebody that takes a walk at lunchtime and buys a Spanish toasty on their way round.
Yeah. Believe me, when I've been rushing into a local shop to buy nappies, I'm more concerned about,
The situation you've got to
the
deal
baby shit I've got my fingers covered in than getting some churros.
Funny that. Right, on that happy note, we'll catch you again for another episode of Stay Hungry. Take care, everyone.